In our first edition of TCH Live, we brought you exciting 5-5 no-limit cash game action. Very crisp moneymaker. Well, the action did disappoint. We saw some big bets, some big laydowns, a few bad beats. Tonight we continue here at Texas Card House. We're bringing the final table, the $15K guaranteed $150 buy-in tournament. We had over 210 entries today for a plush prize pool of $31,500, $6,930 going to first base. The final 10 players to battle on the felt. And day 2 of the TCH Chris Moneymaker Celebrity Poker Series. Welcome back, old friends and new. This is TCH Live. My name is Mike Youngblood. We are very, very pleased to be with you here in our second edition. And got a special treat for you. We got Uncle Sam Von Kennel. See if we can get him unmuted here. But right there. That's right there. As we will have our first hand here of our final table of our final 10 blinds. Currently 10,000, 20,000 with a 20,000 big blind ante. And we shall roll. And it's been a busy day here. We were packed almost all day here, Sam. What did you see while you're out there?
BRICK, heavy bricks on my part and my close friends. We fired bullets and happy to be here with you broadcasting. Wish I could have been on the final table, but I guess there's no other place I'd rather be than right here with you broadcasting live.
It's a nice consolation. You at least get to air your grievances. We're going to have our first all-in on the first hand. A shove here for over $350,000. And Jeremy with the 10s in the big blind assuredly is going to give him a look up. So he'll count out the chips. JD, our dealer here in the box tonight, did a terrific job for us yesterday. Carolyn, our producer. There's so many different faces here at Texas Card House contributing here to our broadcast. Ryan's been working diligently, relentlessly all day to get us live. And here we are with 10s against Ace Jack. And Amit had made the shove. Jeremy now with a really, we can see that, he's up against 2 overcards. But does he want to be the first player knocked out?
Yeah, this is literally hand number 1, and we get the call. This is no shortage of action right from the get-go.
And he is going to make the call, so we will go to classic race situation between Ace Jack of Hearts and the 10s. Wasn't super thrilled to make it, but yeah, I think in this kind of situation where he's going to have a little bit behind if he doesn't come away with this, but
I think you got to take these coin flips. It doesn't matter if this is the first hand of the final table. You got to take these flips and you got to win them. That's the only way to run deep in these tournaments.
And a flop's going to come king at 4-4 rainbow.
It's a great flop right there.
Looking to dodge an ace or jack. And it's a jack on the river.
That's classic.
That is poker, ladies and gentlemen, right there for you. Have the best hand until the very end, and that's a part of the thing in the tournament structure that Jeremy's going to be pretty hard on himself because he thought, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have called here, but he had a really good advantage because we saw the percentages based on the cards in play that he got a little bit unlucky, and that's the game.
Yeah, you got to win those flips. Can't be mad. He puts it in ahead.
Sam, you certainly have done the circuit grind, so there's probably about 1,000 times you can count a situation where you got to get a pair in, and you're going to be trying to dodge overcards, and
that's standard. That's tournament poker. I mean, neither one of them are deep enough to have a lot of post-flop play. You're most likely going to get that all in there.
And a familiar face here from our 5-5 game on is going to fold his 10-6 of hearts. And I expect we'll probably see a different style of play and on tonight on the tournament table than he would as a deep stack, no limit hold'em cash player. And it's going to get folded here to the blinds as Jeremy will get some decent cards to shove with. And we'll pick up the big blind ante and the big blind. So, work his way back to his original stack. As you see the chips there, Coffee and Andy both with about 1 million chips. Eric and Steve right behind him with 875 and 765. And after that, after that double up, just around 600,000.
I give props to Jeremy though. I mean, what is this? 2 hands and he's all in both hands. He's not scared to play his cards. A lot of times you get to the final table and you get on the money bubble like this and people tighten up and try to just climb the ladder. But he's not shy about his hands. He likes them and he's ready to play it.
Yeah, especially if you've had a day as long as this one. This tournament started at 12:30. It is currently midnight right now, so guys are tired. You get a couple of breaks here and there to try to recharge your batteries. But tournament poker is as much about building momentum as it is just the cards you play or the actions you take. And
It's all about timing.
yeah, the timing we go.
How about this? 3 for 3. Jeremy's all in again. Of course, the hands he's got with the blind situation, he's got to.
On had opened, and he's going to shove with his eights and a pretty nice advantage. But now the percentages, those are reflective as far as the cards that we know that have been in play or mocked. And this is going to turn into a coin flip based on the numbers that we see. Well, Jeremy, here in for his tournament life, third time all in. With about 205,000 blinds at about 20,000. I mean, he's got effectively 10 big blinds that, eights are, you see, on could have a whole lot of different hands, and he's going to flop another ace. Disaster here for Jeremy as the 6 comes on the turn, more outs with a flush draw. Yeah, he's dead here as he will be knocked out in 10th place and take home $690 here out of our $31,500 prize pool. And we have our first elimination as Jeremy knocked out. As we look at our other short stacks, John was 70K, Armando nearest kind of short. He's still got about 20 big blinds or so with about 400K in front of him. So down to 9.
The structure of this tournament's allowed some pretty decent play. These guys have come to the final table with an average of more than 20 bigs. And some of the chip leaders have, well over 50 bigs. And so, I mean, there's still a lot of play here left. This could shake out for a nice long final table here.
We could be here for a while, Sam. So we're gonna have to order some delivery. We still got like an hour before the beer shuts down. So, I mean, we might be here until the morning. We will be here as long as we have to here for this final table, and we will be here responsibly. Here for you here on TCHLiVe. Mike Young with Sam Von Kennel with you here back in the TCH studio. 10 and 20,000 with a 20,000 big blind ante. As effectively, that's like 50,000 right there in the middle. As Armando, I checked that we are at 15 and 30. The levels went up on the first hand. Armando gonna come out here with a raise. Pretty standard here with ace-8 of diamonds. Closest to the button. And for guys like him, if he can get little pot after little pot and not have to risk a whole lot of his stacks to chip up. That's a big situation there for Armando, and he will steal the blinds.
Looking at these chip counts, Mike, who do you like to take down this field here?
I feel like On is riding the heater. Like he was able to take a lot of money off of our friend Bryson and Chris Moneymaker last night. It seems to be in kind of a zone, and you get to this time of year, it just kind of ride the hot hand.
I think him and Jeff Coffey there in the 8 seat, they're gonna have a big battle here. We're gonna see a big hand probably. Each player with a little over $1 million in chips.
A lot to play around with, and as the field thins, we'll see. Where those chips get diverted to, and just how much play they're gonna get as they go on. I mean, these are half-hour levels, so in a lot of tournaments that you may play that are between that $100 to $250, you're looking at 15, 20, 25-minute levels, but the 30-minute levels really they gave a lot of people a lot of play today. So Cash gonna raise it here with some sevens. Hammett with ace-10 suited of hearts. On, not going to splash around here with 9-8 offsuit, as we will go heads up to a flop. Sevens, the slight advantage. Well, both these players just about even at chips cash, obviously, with 90K less. And here is your flop. King, queen, deuce. A scary flop there for sevens. He's thinking. Cash going to bet his sevens here as it's checked on. It's brave bet there, as yeah, clearly not worried about any king or queen. It feels like okay. If he probably raised up front with ace king ace queen, I really doubt it's just kind of checked to me. So he's certainly not in a position where like he's going to call here, but Cash can win with the best hand with a pair of sevens. Take down a pot of about 295,000 in our, what is this, a third or fourth hand here at the final table here? So Cash will chip up here to 745. You see John there in seat number 2, only with about 70,000. Really has no fold equity here at this point to get any of the blinds out. So his next hand could be his last, but has not had a whole lot to throw it around with all the other players.
Yeah, once you get down to that point, it just turns into look for your best spot to pick, and you gotta jam it in there and grip it and rip it.
Like that, the John Daly spirit here. That's and
Looks
John
like we found a spot.
Rooting for the underdog here. All in here for 70,000. Big blind of 30K. Cash gonna give up Jack 10. And on here with King 4, is he priced in enough that yeah, he'll call. Only about, what, 55,000 more to him, cash. Or, excuse me, coffee.
I think on and coffee both here in that position where it's just about any two cards. Most likely not going to get aggressive versus each other. Heads up for the side pot. This is normally a spot where we're just kind of looking to get rid of the short stack and climb that money ladder.
So all the chips brought into the main area, and just like my ex-girlfriend, any other further action will be on the side. So there's my joke for the evening. As it goes Jack on the flop at Jack 3-6. And another heart, 3 of a kind sixes here for coffee. He most assuredly is going to bet. And John going to be down to a heart draw to stay alive in this tournament.
Nothing like having your tourney on the line with a nut draw.
Yeah. He'll rise up and see just how slim he was drawn. I think he still had some hope maybe his ace or his 10 was live. And the river's going to come with deuce of diamonds. And just like that, we have 2 players down. John has been eliminated in ninth, and he will take home $780. Here out of the prize pool of $31,500. And
now I think it's really going to start to tighten up. You see the short stack in the game's Armando there in the 10 seat, but he's still got almost 20 big blinds. So at this point, you're not looking at a lot of pre-flop, people having to shove their 7 or 8 bigs in. At this point, I think we're going to level out here and start seeing some hands play down post-flop.
Yeah, you kind of wait for the barrage of the little stacks that everybody's just kind of waiting for them to make their move, whether or not they chip up or get out. And I think you see the hand range just start to open up too as we go to hand number 7. Mondo primarily a cash game player, but you see him here sometimes in the tournaments. Now, this guy, I had got to deal a little bit as we got down to 3 tables. Really impressed with this guy Steve, and easy to look impressive when you've got aces, and he'll make a raise up to 65K. I don't know if he's going to get any action. We'll see. If Eric here in the big blind, here with Queen 10, 35K more to call. And he could be entering the danger zone here. So the aces versus the Queen 10 offsuit. Most of the 4-1 advantage as we go heads up to a flop. Both these players just about even in chips. Flop comes Jack Deuce Deuce. Blank here on the board here for Eric. 2 pair here for Steve. And it correctly checks.
Steve can't be worried about anything on this board right now. He's hoping Eric maybe takes a stab at this one. But I don't think with the pre-flop action, Steve's got to be worried about a deuce in Eric's hand.
Yeah, there's so very few that he's going to call outside of ace deuce or. And with 2 aces in his hand, that just kind of takes out the 2 of the possibilities of the kind of combinations that might call. And 6 going to come here on the turn, and he'll bet with the best hand. I think just really hoping Eric tries to make a move. As
there's just not a lot that Eric can do here. I mean, unless he wants to just put a stone cold bluff through, he's most likely folding there.
And he'll take down the pot as one of the situations where aces kind of plays itself out. The board was really super conducive to his hand. We invite you to join us here in the chat box here on TCHLiVe on our YouTube channel. Had some great discussion. Some cash money fans rooting for cash. Dan Grimes is asking, can we get a brief chapstick update? I don't know what that means, but just Sam smiling. I figure he's probably making a rip at you, but our old favorite Dan Grimes is. Speaking of Dan Grimes, Amit's got 9-5 at diamonds. Will he pay tribute, or is this hand going in the muck? I keep trying to win with it, Sam, and I think it's maybe why I'm going broke. So,
his local Texas Card House Classic hand, the old 9-5. I think Dan Grimes likes it offsuit though. Suit is a little too nice.
Yeah, it's too nice of a hand. That's it's real gritty. So, folding around here to the small blind as Eric wakes up with some 9s. Armando with King 4 of clubs, and this is also gets to the point where you start getting in a late position and guys are starting to open pretty thin, that you get reshoves and all kind of 3-bets, and don't quite know if Armando's going to feel frisky enough to try to think that he's going to get played at, but I expect he's probably going to at least see a flop with this.
In the cash games, Mondo's a little bit more known for a little bit more loose action, some lighter calls. I know he's definitely not scared to put his chips in play. I've watched him throughout the day, though I didn't get to play with him on the table, but he's been playing really well, pretty conservative and tight, making some smart plays. But like I said, I know he's got his moves in the tank. He's got a playbook that is wide open sometimes.
And certainly nobody's scared. He's probably not scared of anyone, period. So that's life of a former professional fighter. As he's going to continue here on a board of Queen 10-5, as Eric will ask for a count. As he has fired out, it looks like 130,000. That's a terrible board there for 9s, and Eric in kind of a tricky spot with only about 700,000. That okay, raised pre-flop to what it was like 60 or 65. That what kind of bet could he have let out with that? And we can see that Armando probably might have pitched the hand, but now he's painted himself in such a tricky spot here that.
Well, Mondo's essentially bet 25% of his stack there, so I mean, Eric knows that if he goes for a raise, Mondo's bet size suggests that he's probably not folding. So I think that's a great spot for Mondo to pick up some good chips.
Coffee up here to 1.1 million. As the chip leader, as he made 3-of-a-kind 6s to knock out John in 9th place. Next payout for the next player that goes out will be 990. Then now we start getting up here into the thousands. But the chip's just in that position that, you know, I think everybody's got a good chance at this, even at this stage. But we'll see if any of these big stacks tangle up and change the whole dynamic of the game. I'm going to fold an ace-3 in late position. I think we'll see these two hands mix up. And Mondo will keep it small. Call here out of the small blind. I think a lot of players in this position, as it gets folded to them, sometimes will really like to open with a king high or king 10. And Steve may be thinking, okay, maybe I can pick this one up, and puts in a big raise here to 130,000. And no fear by Armando as we will take a flop. As it goes like this, I don't think this final table is going to last too long. Guys putting chips in.
No shortage of action, that's for sure.
Head up here, king 10 versus jack 9. A lot of fans tuning in here, rooting on their friends and their favorite players. Here in the chat box. Again, 210 total entries here today. Prize pool of 31,500. I mean, it was just nice to see the entire room packed. There's waitlist to try to get into the game. A really competitive field. As flop's going to come ace 10 deuce. 2 hearts. Armando with the best hand and a pair of 10s. Steve,
So remember, Steve did raise pre-flop, so he can go to rep this ace here if he wants to.
Armando, though, took the lead there out of the small blind, and said probably a good chance that Steve might have been just playing with me here, and his instinct's really strong there. That kind of felt like, okay, if I check this and Steve checks back, or if he makes a bet, like, it's a really good chance I'm gonna just outthink this. And I like his bet there, because you get to kind of this stage, it just becomes who becomes the initial aggressor. And yeah, everybody talks about playing in position, blah blah blah, but it's sort of like, you know, I think that once you get to this stage, how well you can play out of position really determines so much, because you can't wait. You got to get in there and mix it up.
You always got to be looking for spots to take chips. You can't wait for premium hands in position every time. Sometimes you got to mix it up.
And with ace king, certainly worth a raise.
Yeah, speaking of premium hands in position.
And this is always kind of a pleasure too when you're the cutoff, and you got guys who might sit there thinking, okay, it's just trying to pick up blinds here. It's going to call here with ace 6 offsuit with 40. Nope, he'll give it up. He thought about it. Counted the chips. And Eric will take the blinds as we've got a full round of the table. Down to 8 players here in the 15K guaranteed final table.
And you talk about, it's all about catching momentum at the right time. I mean, you see just like that, Armando went from the bottom of the chip leaderboard to moving all the way up to 3rd place in chips here at the final table. This is definitely the time you want to catch hot cards.
And we are open 24 hours on the weekend. We'll be open until Monday morning at 3 a.m. So sitting back at home, you had a nice meal, still feel like being a part of the action here at Texas Card House. They're still open. Got a 5-5 no limit game going, as well as our final table. A couple of 1-2 no limit with bomb pots. Chris Moneymaker right now in the 1-2-5 PLO game. That's been a pretty good game so far. We've got action though. Ace Jack versus Ace Queen, and we've got a raise all in by Amit. Tricky spot here for Steve as take a look at the count here as has 540,000 chips. Does he want to decide, is this a really good spot for me, or is this still a little too early yet to call this much off?
If misses, what's he left with? Maybe 170K, 180K. That's going to be.
Yeah, this is kind of his tournament here.
That leaves him, under 10 bigs. That's for sure.
And it's always better to be the player that's shoving in these spots versus the one that's calling, because you're making the other player make the decision, and the hand just kind of played itself out that it got shoved right back to him. And
I think this is one of the spots where if the ace-jack is offsuit, it's an easier fold. But when it's suited, it's just so much
prettier.
Tempting,
it's just prettier. You're just like, I can't get rid of this. Look at this. I got a chance.
Back at you, and you just, I can't fold you. I like my hand. But Steve makes the right call. He's a much better player than me.
Yeah, I'll give him credit there. And you also kind of fall into the trap, too, of like, okay, I can knock out a player here, maybe if I decide to gamble, but he figured that I think he's played with him enough now at this stage in the tournament that ace-jacks, at best you're getting it in with a coin flip, or maybe you're hoping he's got ace-10, or he's going to look for a better spot here as his chip stack has dwindled. Here are the first 12 hands. Again, blinds 15, 30K with a 30K big blind ante. So it's 75 in the middle.
For being the chip leader, we really haven't seen much action out of Coffee. I know he came to the table getting a massage, but now that that's over, we'll see if he wakes back up and gets into the action.
Sam, I've seen you a few times getting a massage here at the table, and nobody blame you one bit if you kind of drift off, because those are deeply relaxing. And if you would like to get one while you're here at Texas Card House, connect with any of our licensed massage therapists here from Texas Royal Touch for $1.50 a minute, worth every penny.
Yeah, this is hour 13 now if they came at the start. It's a long day. A little neck and shoulder chair massage, not bad at this time of night.
Eric had a race here with the ace-3 up diamonds. Andy has made a good run in this, and thinking about making the call here with 6 of diamonds. A distinct difference here as far as the tonight of the game here this evening is, primarily heads up, and obviously with the stacks as the way they are, it's going to be really rare to see, I think, go 3 or 4 ways. Heads up here is another ace 7-5. Open-ended straight draw here for Andy. Top pair here for Eric. Backdoor diamonds for both is 185K. What do you think of bets here? I think it's probably like 85. Went even smaller there with 55, and good price here for Andy to draw to his open-ended straight draw. He's going to need either a 9 or a 4.
Had the pleasure of playing with Andy a bunch here. He's a really solid player, but I fear that turn card's going to put him in a pickle. I tell you what, he does not want that third diamond to come on the river.
No, that would be pretty disastrous, unless, of course, he draws a 9 of diamonds, which... And a bet here of 125,000. Roughly about a third of the size of the pot, as Eric is going to try to coax him into this. Say, hey, come along, man. Come and join. The water's warm.
Yeah, and Andy's got to be liking both his draws right now. Boy, little does he know.
Going to need a 4 or a 9. That is not a diamond, and he's going to get an 8. So this is not the most awesome board here for ace-3, so he's going to check back, and the ace will be good here with a 10-8-7. No clearing. The thing is, by the time you get to this point, everybody's either playing good or they're already pretty good, and I really haven't seen any devastating mistakes or anybody make any kind of donkey move that we can roast them for, which we would never do, obviously. But you know, pretty good decisions, and I feel like most of them have just been pretty standard pokers for us what we see in tournament play.
I can pretty much guarantee you, if all these players have made it this far, they've at least sucked out on one hand and been sucked out on one hand. It's the only way to get this far. But once you do get this far, yeah, you tend to take it a little more serious. You're not playing for big pay jumps.
Derek Diaz asking, is there any Rudies left? And I think there is. I think we still have some here by the end of the night. It's always kind of a mad scramble once 7:30 comes and we announce that we've got Rudy's Barbecue. You know, I've never seen grown men run so fast in my life. They're dead sprint right there to the brisket. And it is like a war zone out there. You think it's competitive on the felt. Wait till you get in line to try to get yourself some cream corn. All right, folded around here to the button is cash. An active fan base here in the chat box is going to raise up to 65K. And On is going to shove all in for 670. And Cash will give it up. Nice shove there by On.
Yeah, it's almost like he knew.
He's
Jack 10 offsuit. He let it rip.
no fear whatsoever. And I think I talked about it in one of the other shows. It might have been like the test runs, but I'm almost a little more reluctant at times to, you know, if I get in the cutoff or the button and I know a really good player's there in the big blind, that I'm like, okay, this guy knows that I might just be stealing it, so. And it becomes pretty standard here with 75K in the middle that, you know, how much you can chip up, it's worth taking a stab at, but you're also trying to find players that stacks that you can pick on, or they're not likely to jam on you if you got a marginal hand. But one thing that is not marginal is our new promotion here for the month of January. If you play here in cash games for 5 hours straight, you can save 20% off your hourly rate. 7 hours straight, you can earn 30% off your hourly rate. And if you're the real grinder, love putting those hours, and you spend 10 hours straight here, 40% off your hourly rate. Heck of a deal. Is you know, I know poker players are always trying to find the right promotion for them, that, you know, find a way they can save a buck wherever they can, and this is to do it here in the month of January.
Yeah, I know I had some friends take advantage of that. I think it was last night. We were playing round and round with Chris Moneymaker for a while. Before you know it, I think 7.5 hours had passed by before some of us started checking out. And we said, oh man, his rewards are great. We didn't realize we were there that long, and then we got a discount for being there.
Time flies when you're having fun here at Texas Card House, and if you want to be a part of the fun, give us a call at the front desk at 512-956-7195 and get yourself on the list. See what games we have available. Still a lot of action in the main room, and Cash going to raise it up here with ace-3 of spade. Eric in the big blind with queen-7. And he'll fold as well, we haven't run in any really like cooler hands. And there you see the VPIP, the voluntary money put in the pot, is so far out of our 16, 17 hand sample size. Highest percentage you see there is 26% of, and that's if a player calls a raise or just limps. This is just saying fear is not an On's dictionary. That is 100% true.
That's about right.
Took the page out of it, ripped it out, threw it right in the garbage. No need to learn that word. That is pointless. That's what makes these tournaments more fun. Like, you know, do you want to see Ace King go against Queens, or, you know, that's. Yeah, I want to see like Ace 6 tangle up with you know, Jack 10. Things where the decisions aren't always a standard, but Armando here in the big blind with 10-8 offsuit. Steve had raised under the gun with Ace 6 of clubs, and My stomach always churns when I get these hands because I feel like, okay, I have to raise here, but
I'm serious. Not chips, the money.
dependent here on the board as if flop's going to come 10-4 jack. And once again, Armando with a 10. Heads up against Steve, makes second pair. The 175K he's reaching, he's firing, and it is at 90. It's about a bet of around, yeah, it's 65,000. As you see the orange chips signifying the 25,000. The pink chips at 5,000. Possibility later on that we could see the navy blue 100K chip is not quite there yet, but colored up our yellows, our 1K chips, and there comes a raise. Is really impressed with Armando as how he's played here. He's laser focused. And he's going to take down a nice pot here with a check raise with second pair. And we'll keep on moving here on TCHLiVe. Mike Youngblood, Sam Von Kennel. Tournament Grinder. It's one of the godfathers here of Texas Card House. Yeah, you've been a part of this longer than anybody. Did you ever think to the day that we would have a live streaming show with all these cameras and all this kind of stuff? Or did you envision this, or you like medium? Can you foresee stuff?
I had thought of a lot of things, but I'll be honest with you, I never thought I'd see the day that we'd be live streaming from one of the card clubs. This is as cool as it gets.
It's a heck of a treat for the players, and we appreciate your feedback as far as. I know the poker community is very particular. They. I wouldn't say hard to please, but I would say they know a phony from from the real thing, and it's as much great feedback as we've got. That's only encouraging us to continue to see how we can make your experience better here at Texas Card House in our 3 locations, not only here in North Austin, but North Houston and Spring, and also in Edinburgh and Rio Grande Valley, and those locations also open for action. If you're in the area, Eric with an ambitious raise with King Deuce offsuit, going to get called in 2 spots by the blind, but he does have position with his King High, and Jack at 9 is 7. Top 2 pair, open-ended straight draw here for Armando. Nothing here for Eric, but so now Armando, as the open-ender, might also feel like his queen is good, and Steve, who had called, called the raise, is going to lead right into the better. And that is going to be a bet of 110,000.
See an easy fold coming for Eric, but I think Mondo's definitely not going to let this go. It's just going to be more of a question of, does he try to go for gold here and go for the raise, or just call and see what we get here on the turn?
No, I mean, if he feels like he's going to lead into the pre-flop raiser, it's... you probably expect Steve's not just doing that with a draw, but live as we'll turn a 6. Still a 4-1 favorite now with his top 2 pair, and it's tougher here with a draw out of position too. That he is thinking about being aggressive and.
Well, Steve raised pre-flop, so there's not a lot of hands here unless you want to put him on, a set of jacks or a set of nines, maybe ace jack, ace nine. Would be about the only hands that he'd raise here. So
I guess I'm just trying to figure out what Armando's going to try to represent here. Either
I think that Mondo probably feels that his pair outs might even be good here too. Not only is he open-ended, but any pair might beat.
Steve's going to move all in, and I think he's invested enough here that he's going to have to do the math and figure out just how much more he has to call.
I think Mondo now realizes his pair outs aren't good.
Probably not.
But the draw is too much for him to lay down, so let's see what happens.
Oh,
300,000.
This will be for the chip lead, I think.
We're awfully close to it. It's going to be in the driver's seat, and it's going to be a 5. Jackson 9s will survive, and that'll take a big chunk of chips out of Armando as he will go down to 455,000. Steve had started this final table around the million, has gotten his chip stack right back up to kind of where he started, and the action will continue here as, quiet final table here for coffee. Eric's been fluctuating, On's been fluctuating, Cash also in the mix here, but the half-hour levels, again, plenty of time to kind of stick in this one and keep waiting for your spots. Let's see, our next level after this is going to go up to 20K, 40K with a 40K big blind ante. But yeah, keep them coming here in the chat box. Also, if you have not subscribed yet, please do so, and that will give you a free hour of play at Texas Card House. We got over 200, I think last I saw 209 subscribers. We had 1,000 views on our opening video here the other night, and we've got it all in here for On with Ace Queen, and I'm just going to joke around with him here with 9 deuce high as...
I'm a very good hand. One of your odds, right?
That is.
Yes.
Yes. Pass the chips over there to On as, again, we are 8-handed. You see the pre-flop raising percentages. Nothing too out of line. I feel that you're at 20%. I think we've only had just about under 20 hands. That.
Tell you what, if you'd have told me we were going to go 20 hands without Jeff Coffey being active at all, I would have definitely taken the under. I would have lost that bet every time.
Yeah, he has been patient. He hasn't gotten a lot of cards too, and. But he's focused, and the chip lead like this, it's every move you make matters, and
here we go.
A couple of 5s. Clearly the best name on the table is going to raise it up here to 80K.
Of this final table, Jeff Coffey is probably the longest standing Texas Card House member. He was there when we opened up the doors. He was there the first week. If it wasn't the first day, it was the first week. I know that.
And that experience paying off is... Yeah, Sam, I moved here in 2015. I moved down south to Kyle in about 2017, and that's when I found out that Texas Card House existed. Less than a mile from my house, and I wasn't quite ready to throw things yet, but when I found out there it was in the Mad Check location, it was less than 2 minutes from where I lived. I was not a happy camper, but I was happy to the realization that all of this was happening, but it took me a couple of days to get over that, so it was a very, very sad moment. But also came the realization of everything that has happened here throughout the state of Texas. As we mentioned in the broadcast, that take poker from the private rooms and the back rooms, and kind of the. I'm trying to be as cautious as I can, but into the public light so that we can grow the game even further. And I feel like we're seeing a mini boom back into the poker world here in Texas.
Certainly in Texas, absolutely, and it's things like this that we're doing in this live stream. I think this in itself will just kind of refuel the tanks for some of the players that maybe over the 5 years that they've gotten back into it, maybe the game's a little stale, but this is going to refresh and rejuvenate a lot of those players because now they get to watch them play with their friends and play with their their peers and people that they think and know are better than them. They get to see and watch and learn. Like, this is a whole new step for the poker player.
And they can have proof. I'm hoping to hear guys roast each other for bluffing each other.
Yeah, I can only imagine when we get my round and round game on this table.
Oh my gosh. For the
Everybody's
characters you
gonna
have
be-
in that game, that is, I'm not sure if we're going to be having the crowd mic on for that, or if we're going to have to mute that for y'all, or...
I seriously think we play for bragging rights and just the, trying to stack each other more than the money itself. Like, just the fact that I stacked some of these people, that means more than, I could have had a losing session, but there's a couple of my guys at that table. If I knock them out, it's a good night. Win or lose for me.
You got to take the small victories where you can. As 20K and 40K big blind, and a lot of these smaller stacks going to start feeling the squeeze. And this is kind of a, for coffee as well, and the guys with about 1 million in chips, you're being cautious just about what kind of hands you enter with, because, okay, you raise it up to 80,000, all of a sudden your next bet's going to be, you're going to have to follow up with that. And just fold around is...
Yeah, I think, though, we've been able to see their hands, so obviously his hands have been relatively marginal at best, so he's not being able to play very many of them, but there's just so many times you get this type of chip lead and you have this stack to play with, and you can open up that playbook a lot more and just play your stack instead of waiting for hands. I hate to see big chip leads like this just get folded away and blinded away.
Blinded off. And Andy going to open in the small blind with ace-queen as Yvonne feels frisky and he'll let it go. Now we saw him shove on cash earlier with Jack-10, but obviously didn't think Andy was playing around or wanted to take the chance that and wisely laying off here. Again, we're still at 8 players. The next elimination will receive $990. It's $6,930 for first place. And reading the chat box here, Jeremy saying brutal first 3 hands, but big thanks to TCH for running a first-class operation, fun tournament, great cash games, a barbecue. Made 12 hours of tournament play worth the grind, and I gotta agree with that. No matter what kind of bad day you're having, you're not running good. Get yourself some turkey and some sausage, some brisket, eat your sorrows away, or celebrate too. So Armando here with Jax.
I think it's really the perfect Saturday and Sunday tomorrow. You got poker, you got barbecue, and you got NFL playoffs starting, and the Texans won, so that's always a good thing.
And Tom Brady lost, so for a lot of people, that's good news. I'm not sure what's going to be like.
Dynasty is done.
Apparently, I don't know. Maybe that guy is immortal though. To be out here and 50 years old and still looking like he's 35.
He kind of looked like a bum tonight.
Yeah, he's had better days. There's coffee here in the big blind, and this could spell danger, but Armando has put in roughly just about a fourth of a stack, and
I hate that I jinxed him. I mean, I've been talking all night. When's Coffee going to play a hand? And finally wakes up with a playable hand, and Mondo's got him crushed.
And we will go to a flop heads up ace-jack versus jacks. Mondo's only got about 305, and it should be a shove if it gets checked to him, which Coffee's reaching, though. He might have missed that flop, and oh no.
That's more than the amount of chips that Mondo has in play, so that's going to put Mondo all in, and he's going to quickly call.
Get him right into the punch and got him right into the game, and about 305 will go right into the middle with Coffee. Either needing some chop outs or he's going to need an ace. And he could have just expected that maybe Armando had a hand like King Queen or any kind of combination of big cards to to try to open with. So, you know, I don't want to be too results oriented as far as okay, we can see the cards. I mean, I like the move. It just happened to come at the worst possible time here for coffee, as it'll turn to 4 clubs. Excuse me. And we'll go here to the river with a 7 of hearts, 7s and jacks with a 9. A big boost to the stack of Armando. And that is a dangerous player to hand chips towards, as we've seen no fear out of him, no fear out of On, and coffee takes a dent as from the front house to the outhouse, but down to 745K.
This is where you really got to see what you're made of in a tournament. You go from being the chip leader to taking a hit. You're down, but you're not out. You know, so you're not in first place anymore, and you drop down to the middle of the pack. But this is where a good grinder is going to not get tilted, not worry about that play, just move on to the next. You got to have a short-term memory. Just forget about it, play the next hand.
Like Dan Grimes said there in the chat, Armando is a beast. Played cash until early in the morning, and it comes right back at noon and crushes the tournament. So he might be a machine. He may not have needed all that much sleep to run over this field.
Well, he told me during the break today that he's trying to win some money because we're all going to Choctaw for the main event next weekend, and he said he's going to parlay this victory into a Choctaw main event victory.
Momentum, baby. That's what it's all about here in this game. As Steve now with a pair of 6s. Oh, he's going to fold. Doesn't like his position here. Spidey sense tingling, says maybe there's bad news on the road in front of me, and
wow, I've never met a pocket pair that I'm going to fold. Free. Get it.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's is Andy gonna raise here with ace-10? On will go away. We'll have dueling ace-10s, but bad news ahead as in the big blind, a couple of cowboys for Eric with a raise and a call. Certainly another raise is coming, but is this a matter of does he just shove here, or does he try to juice this up? And I mean, effectively any raise that he has is going to put any of the players all in, and yeah, he's just going to go ahead and put it in the middle and shove all in. And he could look at this and say, is he trying to squeeze me here, or?
I'm kind of surprised by the all-in shove. I don't know that I would have done that with 900,000. I'm going to try to get someone. I mean, with kings, I'm super confident. Like, I know you're probably going to be up against an ace, but I'm going to try to get somebody else to make the move on me. I don't want to just take this pot down right now.
And both players folding their ace-10 as, you know, if you really want to get tricky, you can maybe just call out of the blinds, but that you know, comes with a lot of risk, obviously, as Eric has now soared to the chip lead with 19% of the chips in play, as you see half the table under 20 big blinds. We'll be seeing some moving here fairly soon, but as for right now, 20K, 40K, we'll be playing for about 2 hours, and before we take our next break. So, well, we're about, what, half hour here into the broadcast here of TCHLiVe. Going on hour 13 for many of these players. And Andy going to open a call up with Jack 10 of diamonds. Blinds this high that and the 3 deuce of hearts as Armando has got ace jack in the big blind, and here comes the raise from Armando. As looks like what, about 135, somewhere in there, 140. As a raise to 140 is would be about a fourth of the stack of Andy to try to take a flop here. We can see he's dominated, but He might think Armando has air and says, all right, maybe I'll take a flop here, heads up. Because Eric not wanted to gamble the 3 deuce of hearts out of position, and we will go heads up to a flop as Ace-Jack versus Jack-10 of diamonds. Mondo a big favor before we see the first 3 cards. And it comes 4-3-3. He's going to check. Is Andy going to move here? He's going to push all in here on the flop of 4-3-3. Armando has the best hand with ace high. And he does not have the stones to call. As tricky spot there with just ace high. I guess, you know, if I'm Armando, I would try to figure out what kind of hands is he limp and calling with, and you know, that could be your 5s, your 6s, maybe in some cases your 7s, but I was surprised he slowed down and checked instead of just continuing, but
I like that shove a lot by Andy. I don't really see any other way he's going to find a spot to win the hand.
yeah.
The turn card's going to bring, you know, a lot of bad news usually to him. And give any paint card Armando can represent, or he hits.
We keep moving on the $15K guaranteed final table with the $31,500 prize pool. Thank you for all the players who entered today. Part of the packed house here at TCH in North Austin. And on with Queen Jack is going to make the raise. Up to, it's going to be a well-sized raise, up to 180. So we get, we'll get Sam back here on the mic as we get his headset in order. Queen Jack versus Queen Jack. Steve thinking about making the call out of the big blind, and still thinking. He's trying to figure out, it's like, okay, blinds are 20K, 40K. What is he going to make a raise that's roughly, I don't know how many X that is, but at least 5. Is 4.5, 5X. Straight.
So everybody's in the same positions? Everybody's in the same positions? Just
All right, we're back, everybody, here on TCHLiVe. We had to work through some technical difficulties and then wait for the delay in order to just ensure the security and safety of our stream. We're all good here on this end, though, but had to take a brief pause as Mike Emblett joined here by Sam Kennan. As we are, as you see, chips are colored up. We'll be 6-handed here as we get caught up on all the information. we are here at the TCHLiVe Poker Series featuring Chris Moneymaker. We had our 5-5 no limit cash game the other night. This here is the 15K guaranteed final table.
Okay, JD.
Lots of action still to come here.
I think you talked about them coming in earlier, but there they are. The baby blue 100K chips are officially in play. So that put 3 different chips in play: the orange 25Ks, the pink 5Ks, and the baby blue 100Ks.
So the Carolina blue, you know, that's I don't know. I feel like we can have a debate about that in the chat blocks. Like, it's kind of like, what color dress is this? And it's like, is it gray? Is it blue? Is it gold? And guys are just not that smart about colors. So
One thing is for sure, they stand out from the orange and pink chips. So if you see those coming in your screen, you know you got some big action underway.
cash with over $1.3 million. The action tracker catches up here with our RFID technology for TCHLiVe. Again, cameras work in sync with the action tracker, so you know we've been really blessed to have smart people on the production side of things working with it, and I feel like, especially after the first one, Carolyn did a terrific job with it. Ryan's been working tirelessly as far as keeping everything operational, and yeah, for first run through, I had to go home last night and celebrate because it was something you feel really accomplished, not just for myself, but a number of great people coming together and making all of this work.
I tell you what, I was out on the main floor last night while this was all broadcasting, the Moneymaker cash table, and you know, as far as us watching and all my friends watching back at home, we got nothing but good reviews. So props to you, Mike, for doing a great job.
Appreciate it. Armando is going to move all in here with his ace-queen. Andy going to call for less with his jacks. Now, Coffee with the decision to make here with the ace-king, he's going to give up ace-king as he'd be the third person in the pot as we get down to six-handed. And Eric has got ace-6 of diamonds, and he's thinking. He's thinking, you know. He's got plenty of chips, but this would be roughly half the stack as main pot's going to be up against jacks, and he'd have to go up against a side pot against ace-queen. And gives us some thought, and his 80K raise going to come in the middle. We will have a heads-up showdown. Andy has fought his way through this tournament. Tournament life on the line as it'll be jacks against ace-queen, another classic duo here in tournament poker. As always just feels like it comes down to hands like these. It's going to come out queen, 3, king, rainbow. And the turn is a 7 of clubs. And final card, an 8 of hearts. Andy has been eliminated in 6th place. And for his day of work, he is going to take home, looks like $1,575. So we down to 5-handed, and we've got Armando with a lot of chips. We've got Coffee with a lot of chips. Eric's got a lot of chips, and as we bring up our chip count here, even for that, though, all these players under 20 big blinds, and don't see some chips being pushed right here in the middle, Sam, as we go on.
It's one of the greatest feelings in the world when you're the side of the coin flip of the 2 overs versus the pocket pair, to see your pair and your card right there in the window. Boy, that's just the greatest feeling.
Oh, it is. See your opponent devastated.
Yeah.
You know, they're just really bummed, and you're like, yes, I won. Take that, sucker. No, we generally try to prefer a more classy approach, but
Oh no, you gotta brag. If you win, get there.
It's one thing I've learned here is I gotta have a little chutzpah, a little bravado sometimes. So it makes the room kind of fun. But we've got Armando in the big blind, blinds 40 and 80,000 with an 80,000 big blind ante. Eric here in the small blind with Jack 10 off suit. And he's gonna push all in. And will not get a call. It's not worth it here for Armando. That I think even if he like flipped up his hand and showed it to him, Yeah, if he's sitting there with queen 4, it's just Mondo likes to gamble, but I don't think that gamble that much. And
Tell you what, though, that's the third or fourth time here at the final table that we've seen somebody get real aggressive with Jack 10.
yeah, earlier Andy had kind of got in a baby flop, like 4-3-3, and got checked to him, and just made the aggressive move to take down the pot. Chat back active here on TCHLiVe, the YouTube channel. Folks rooting for cash, rooting for coffee. Robert Smith saying, hey, get a coffee. I mean, he might be asking somebody to go get him some coffee, which if you do come down here to TCH, we got 2 terrific coffee machines. There's been certainly plenty of nights where we've got to go rely, get a little caffeine in there. If you want to go to the front refrigerator, get yourself a $2 can of Red Bull. That's what I'm fired up on.
Yeah, shout out to ATX Coffee for making those machines happen.
You know, the thing that surprised me most about those things was you were able to get the chicken broth.
It's a running joke around the room. Everybody thinks it's a joke until they try it, and they're like, "Oh wait, no, I kind
That's
of like
delicious.
that. It's
It's actually really good. Like it is, especially get to this time of year, you get a little flu acting up, or you get a little
Everybody's got
sniffles.
allergies.
Well, no sniffles here as cash. Gonna move all in here against Armando with 8s. And he'll give it up as blind versus blind as he's down to 5-handed. As gonna see a lot more moves like this, and all of these players have the ability to really show a lot of aggression, but not a lot of chips. So there's only about 1 or 2 moves they have left in the repertoire, and it may come down to just who gets the best cards and the right situations unfold. As on down to 11 big blinds, Coffee with the lead with 1.6. Again, we thank you for hanging with us here. Is Armando going to shove here with Queen 10? Cash has got aces.
Oh wow.
Oh.
This is the worst spot for Mondo to shove here. Of course, aces wake up on the small.
That's always the worst feeling. To me, that's the worst feeling is when you open shove and you're short stacked and get that quick call. Like, oh no.
You just know.
Yeah, you're just like, there's about to be a computer broken in my house here tonight. All right, King 10-4. I'm a lot calmer than I used to be. Then 9 of clubs here on the turn.
Mondo here.
And it's going to need a jack or a queen here on the end, and it'll be an ace of clubs. Set of aces here for cash, and a whole lot of chips being sent to a very dangerous player in seat 1. As the field has been thinned, and you know, great day for Armando nonetheless. Out in 5th place.
New chip leader at this point too. You see Cash now has 40% of the chips on the deck.
Wow. What is Armando going to take here for 5th? 1,900. And wish the best of luck to him on his trip to Choctaw.
Hey, well, that's perfect. The main event buy-in is 1,700, and what did he win? 1,900?
Yeah, won 1,900. So it's kind of like a effective satellite
Yeah,
here.
you got a tank of gas, a hotel, and a shot at the main event in Choctaw.
Yes. Maybe a shot at the bar on the way there.
Yeah, maybe a couple shots.
A couple, yeah. That's. What do you think Armando drinks? I can't remember the call. But,
I bet you he's a fine tequila drinker.
and he's got great taste. So down to 4 players here. 40K, 80K. Coffee in the big blind. Again, he posted big blind ante, which I've really loved that we've gone this route. As it used to be just such a hassle to try to pick up antes from 9 to 10 players, and it changes up the tournament game, and I always feel like I think the game is about as good as it gets right now, but I think we always certainly welcome your feedback as players as to things that can make your Texas Card House experience even better, the type of game, the type of tournament. I've got a lot of crazy ideas, Sam. None of them are good. Most of them are ridiculous and stupid, so I've kept them to myself. But certainly somebody else might Might have a genius idea out there.
5,000.
Cash money here on the button with the Jack 7 of spades.
Like, for first and then structure that you propose to.
So we usually don't get
He's
too
gonna make a
involved.
position play here. He's chip leader. He's on the button. He's got a suited full
Yeah.
gapper.
And with the chip lead, like, I mean, he's got a little bit more muscle to flex around as far as he can take more chances and chip up, where I think a lot of these players are going to start really feeling the squeeze. That unless you've got ace X or a good king combo, like it's going to be really difficult to try to put a third bet shove in.
That'd be too many.
Yeah, you got two ways to play that chip stack. I mean, you can get aggressive. You start getting creative with the ways to win, and it's all about taking these chips down. You start winning these blinds. You steal a couple. Finally, a good hand comes. You're in great shape. I mean, that's the way to take these chips down. Don't play your chip stack.
Great Saturday for us here as we now drift into Sunday officially.
Oh shit, I didn't see him.
1:49 local time. As we broadcast the stream for you here on TCHLive, the action continues in the main room again as we got no limit cash game, some PLO, 5-5 game running here in our final table as we've reached the button and on with ace high. Not a whole lot of chips. And he'll make a min raise here to 160. Eric certainly well in line to make a call, and he will as we'll go heads up. The Jack 10 offsuit versus the Ace 3 offsuit. Classic poker battle between the two. And flop's going to come king at 9, a 6. Gutter roll for Eric. Nothing for on, but he does have the best hand with ace high. Does Eric decide to maybe lead here?
Get down to 4 and 5 handed here, short-handed. Ace high's gonna be good a lot of times here. Ace high should take down a lot of pots.
And on is going to move, sensing he can pick up the pot, and he will. Sometimes a game as simple as that does. Yeah, Eric has, it's seeing him has been pretty deliberate. He tries to take his time and think through things, but thought about a bet, but always risky there because On's kind of a hard guy to put on a hand. It's not, with a lot of players you can kind of develop a range, but he's a heck of a player. Certainly unpredictable and a real wild card as we are put down to 5-handed here. And all terrific players that have made it here to the final table. And on has got 8s. He's got $1 million in chips. Lines 40-80, and he is going to bump it up to just about 200,000. And check that min raise of 160 is. Eric thinking now in the small blind. Queen 10 of clubs. And he will make the call, and 9-3 seems like a fun hand, but does Cash have enough chips that it's like, hey, there's enough in there that with a player calling out of the small blind, it's actually a really great price, even though not the ideal hand to be involved with.
He knows what he needs here. He's got a flop 2 pair or a heart draw.
It's 9 would technically be good. It's going to come out queen, deuce 3, queen deuce 4. Bad flop for 8s, but that is not going to stop on from making a move on the pot. Quickly called here by Eric. And this could be it here for on. He is down to 2 8s. Really no backdoor draws to. Gonna need an 8 with 2 cards to come, and it's a 10. Proves Eric's hand, but the song still remains the same as it would be an ace on the river. Always an ace, Sam. It's always an ace, but and on will be eliminated, and Now in fourth place, and take home $2,550.
Not a bad payday on a $150 buy-in.
No kidding.
I know when you get that deep and you get knocked out, you're always left kind of feeling like you want more, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day,
Cash rules everything around us, and on we'll pocket 2,550 as we now down to three-handed. And all right, so we've lost some players that have had some pretty decent sized chip stacks. Now we're gonna see what three-handed poker looks like. Fairly deep. I think everybody's just above 20 bigs.
can't say it enough. Couldn't be more impressed with the discipline by Coffee. Coming in with chips, takes a hit earlier with ace jack versus jacks, probably loses almost half his stack, and battles back and just continues to be patient. He's waiting for that spot, and I mean it's been successful. He's gotten all the way down. There's 3 people left.
And if you're looking for more TCHLiVe, you're going to need that patience because it's going to be Monday at 6 p.m. will be our next live stream, Pot Limit Omaha 5-5 with Chris Moneymaker. If we do have a no limit hold a mega stack $100 buy-in tomorrow. We will not stream that, but our full intention is to go with a 5-5 PLO game with Chris, which
I called it a terrible hand.
boy, that was we did a test stream, and PLO is super fun to broadcast. So they get to see just all the cards, and part of this is since we know the hands that are being mocked, we get a really good idea of the percentages. And
I think it's just the game difference itself. I mean, in Hold'em, you can get flopped dead. You know, it happens quite often, but in
Right.
Omaha, just the draws, everything's live. The turn card changes everything. You can flop the nuts and be stone dead by the turn or river. That's just the beauty of the Omaha game. So I think on a broadcasting side of it, for what you do, yeah, it gives you a little bit more action to look at.
Queen Jack versus King Jack as we go heads up. Eric raging on the button. Flop's going to come ace high. 5 deuce of spades. Neither player with the spade in his hand, and see if Coffee tries to gather a read here that, if Eric makes a bet that he doesn't like and thinks, okay, bet of 130 into a pot of about 470, just check that 135. And I'm not going to do so disciplined. Again, with three-handed, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to try to maybe trap somebody or pick up a better hand. And, he's played really disciplined. That's been really impressive. And Eric has quietly just built up a pretty big stack here. Just, I don't know if we gave him enough credit on the way in, but the situations have played enough in his favor that he's sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, you can see these chip stacks really starting to grow when you're deep like this. You start to get real towers drawn. Guys get creative in their architecture as they build out their chip stacks.
Again, we invite you to join us here in the chat box here of TCHLiVe. If you have not done so yet, subscribe. Take it to the front desk, show that you're a subscriber to TCHLiVe, and you get a free hour of play here at the card room. On the button, cash. Straight cash, homie, with King Queen of Diamonds. Eric here with Jack 10 of Hearts. Oh, this is going to be a good hand to see here. Heads up. A lot of let's goes in the chat, and I'm all for it. Looking behind their friends. The virtual rail here at TCHLiVe. So we wait our flop, a queen at 8-4 inside straight draw, but top pair here for cash. Eric's gonna check. I think we're getting the it's actually get a bet here from cash for 150 and a call. Eric also with some backdoor hearts, and oh my god, it is a straight 8 to queen. See if cash gets trapped here as 5 of hearts and 770 in the pot here. What can Eric bet?
Eric has to go for value here. He checked the turn and cashed in bite. You're gonna have to lead something out here.
You know, if I'm looking for I mean, like, since we can see the cards, thinking like if he bets, I mean, surely there's a lot. But I'm gonna say like 350. Say like a half-size bet would be pretty good. I feel like he's gonna go somewhere in the ballpark of that because doesn't want to chase him away here. Gives him just enough that. Yeah, it's just gonna be about 300 even. Yeah, what an excellent check though by Cash. That he's, yeah, if he's gonna call here, he's gonna lose the minimum because he could have lost a heck of a lot more. Can he get away from this though? I mean, is this a? I just have a hard time believing that short-handed or three-handed that can you really fold top pair here?
I'm not folding here. I know that. I'm not good enough to find a fold here. Top pair, three-handed with king kicker. That's going to take it down too often. This time it's unfortunate, but I don't think I can find a fold there either.
Cash gonna take off his sunglasses just to reaffirm that yes, that is in fact the nuts. Wait, hold on there. What are you having?
Just in case.
Our dealer's right on top of that. Now Eric gonna chip up here to 3.4 million. He's got half the chips in play. Coffee down to 13 bigs. But like you said, really, really good player. See if he picks up any windows of opportunity to try to pick up some chips or, hey, pick up a hand too. Shane Wall saying I'm watching from Florida, not going to bed until Cash wins it all. I like that.
There we go. What happens if he doesn't win? We got to wait till his next tournament.
Yeah, that's a long time of not sleeping. Like I can go about 24 hours and I start to get a little bit loopy. But if I had to wait an extended period of time, I would not make a good dealer here. So
I'm getting pretty loopy after like 4 or 5 hours. So.
Yeah. Take like 5 naps per day, or been awake for 5 hours. All right, here we go. We're all kidding aside. Coffee's gonna raise it up to 250, and Cash gonna call him in position with Queen 10. Here we go. Flop comes 9-8 ace. Inside straight draw for Cash.
I like to see Coffee getting active. He's been sitting so quiet for so long. He's going to be able to push a lot of these king highs. I mean, not only is it good right now, but he's going to be able to push a lot of these king highs through. I feel like Cash has to know that Coffee's been sitting super quiet.
And he's bet half of his stack here, so he's not saying it, but he's giving him some kind of indication that, okay, I've committed a fair amount of this. I'm going to try to represent the ace. And Cash, if he wants to try to semi-bluff, that this could be an opportunity, but some people don't like to live that dangerously, Sam.
Coffee is repping the ace super hard right now. I feel like the only thing that's keeping Cash on the hook is that gut shot. But, I mean, he can't possibly think he's going to put all these chips on the line for a gut shot.
And as you look on the top of your screen, you see the Queen of Clubs. Not a part of any of his outs. That's...
And he does find the fold.
Great bet. I mean, that takes some takes a little oomph and a little courage there to put half your chips in with nothing but King 6 high offsuit. And
but that's three-handed poker for you. I mean, that's like I said, ace highs are good, king highs are good. It's holding. It's really hard to get a pair.
Even
that's
harder
why I can't blame Cash for folding his for calling the top pair earlier. I mean, that's going to be good so many times.
And like I said, to give him credit because he could have lost a heck of a lot more. He could have gotten way overzealous, but
it was great pot control.
Folded here to Cash in the small blind with ace queen high. Coffee in the big blind with King 3 already with 80K out there.
See if Coffee gets aggressive with his king high again. Not the right spot for him this time.
Get to the old limp raise by Straight Cash Homie. Now there it is. Limp raise all in. The ace queen high. Coffee will give it up. He made a pretty sizable raise, and
Damn sure don't want to pay the tax fund.
you know, Cash keeping everybody on their toes is really well played there. Because Coffee could have easily just knuckled that, and taken a flop, but
You care about the tax fund?
as you see, Eric there with 3.4 million, Cash with 1.8, Coffee right behind with 14 big blinds and 1.2 million in chips. The Carolina blue, navy blue, whatever they are, it's a pretty cool shade of blue. It's the 100K chip and the 5K represented the pink and the 25K orange chips. So we're gonna color up a little bit more and I think take a brief break.
I mean, you could definitely take more.
Again, we are in day 2. We're just kind of wrapping up day 2 of the TCH Celebrity Poker Series. We're Chris Moneymaker. Again, tomorrow, the No Limit Mega Stack $100 buy-in. There's also a $200 bounty, and you can get a Moneymaker T-shirt.
I got 1.6.
And our Sundays, and we've been running these tournaments too. Not just exclusively here for this Chris Moneymaker. We've had these $100 freeze-outs, these Mega Stack freeze-outs on Sundays that are great values. That holy moly, you get a lot of chips for a tournament like this. A 30K starting stack, you get a dealer appreciation for an additional 5K. And 25-minute levels, and that's on every Sunday. However, for this Sunday that we have coming up, it is the $100 Mega Stack, and that is a re-entry.
Yeah, I think the only thing we changed from our regular Sunday to this one with Moneymaker is that it's a re-entry rather than the freeze-out.
And it gives some opportunity, and I talked to some of those guys there that, boy, they put in a lot of bullets to, but, they also saw a lot of value in this tournament. That we guarantee the prize pool of 15K. We certainly exceeded that by a lot more, so really encouraged by the turnout that we've gotten thus far.
Yeah, I actually jumped in, or no, I didn't jump in. I got to TCH today at level 2, and there was a handful of people on the wait list to get in. When I came around the corner and looked at the prize screen, we had already hit the guarantee by level 2. And so you knew with 6 more levels of registration and a dozen people in the lobby, you just knew that today was going to be a big one.
It was pretty cool to just see all the faces here today, and we certainly hope to continue to see you tomorrow and on Monday as Chris Moneymaker hosting a 5-5 PLO game that will be streamed on TCHLiVe Monday at 6. And then, if PLO doesn't float your boat or No Limit Hold'em, if you want to play mixed limit cash games and Big O 2-5 pot limit Big O game on Tuesday. So, boy, this week's feeling like it's breezing by. Like that. Here to the end of day 2, I know a lot of tired faces here, but fueled on adrenaline, Sam.
This is a long day for these players, but I mean, once you get to this point, you see what you're playing for. Almost 7K up top. You're going to find that second win. You're not going to let that affect you. You'll go stretch, you'll yawn a couple times, but once this breaks over and cards get back in the air, like I said, you're playing for $7 grand right now. That's enough to keep them awake. Can you see those pretty lime greens?
Chips there too.
Yep.
And those are the 500K.
Half a milli right there.
And green is a pretty appropriate color for that. So. As we get our players chipped up, you can see just about 3 racks of those pink chips here from Eric's stack. It's been on a heck of a run here as we've gotten down to, we had to restart our stream at about 600, and the chips have been flying. We go back here in the chat box. Robert saying you got this coffee. Clover, clover, clover. 4-leaf clover. Okay, that's. Rob saying bring on the lap dances. Coffee for Prez.
There we go.
You guys, does anybody have the app for it?
Yeah, well, we talk about lap dances past 2 o'clock, so.
Yeah, there's an app.
Yeah, that was kind of the weird thing that when yeah, we're around this poker community a lot. We know what a poker room looks like and what goes on, and you'll never believe like the strangest questions if I talk to people who have no idea. They're like, are there strippers there? Or as you know, I've always said it's like it's not like the scene from Deadwood. It's mostly just strategized. I don't want the right word to use, but people who are very into strategy and versus the wild West where everybody's carrying 6-shooters and
Playing 5-card draw.
yeah, you know, and everybody's
Deuce
making
is
string
wild.
raises.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, here's the thing I can't figure out, Sam. Is any movie ever hired somebody from a card room ever to be like, that is a string raise. You cannot put this in your movie. It never. It just. Boy. And it's a valid complaint too. But these guys possibly considering some figures here. You might consider a chomp just because of the where the blind levels are at, where the chip levels are at.
Yeah, I've actually been told that we're not chopping. The players have talked about it, and the consensus was, unless something crazy happens, we are playing down to a winner.
But that puts you over the bracket.
And a pretty healthy chunk in the prize pool at this point is. I'm just good enough in math here. That's about roughly 14,000, 15,000 left here in the prize pool between the 3 players. Eric's by far got the most.
Trust me, Ryan's been there
I think
Cash and coffee are kind of somewhere on the same ground.
I think if we see anything as far as a chop goes, it might be they all agree to take 2,500 each or something, whatever third place is, and take that each, and then leave the remainder and play down for a winner. Maybe we'll see something like that. But the way these chips are spread out, I mean, if I'm Eric with 55% of the chips in play, I don't see myself taking a chop.
No, I wouldn't. And feels like everything has gone his way too. It's a lot of good mojo on his side of the table.
It's hard for me because, I mean, I wouldn't even need to have 55% of the chips in play. All I need is 5% of the chips in play, and I'm still not going to take a chop. We're going to go out swinging, and we're going to go for first place. And one thing about me, if I'm playing poker, I play by the Ricky Bobby rules. If you're not first, you're last.
It's a classic of all time. I really can't go wrong with Will Ferrell. I mean, he's had a few duds, but he had a tear there within the 2000s. That was, oh boy, it will be timeless, and I hope 40 years from now I'm still laughing at Elf or Step Brothers. Fan out the deck and see all the cards here before we resume play as...
Look like 52 cards to you, Mike?
I think so. Yep, did a full count here right in my brain. Human calculator.
We got
But
6.5 million chips in play, somewhere around there, give or take. Give or take 100,000 or so.
I know a lot of you can't do, I mean, like, there's a lot of really smart people here at TCH, guys who teach at a collegiate level or a high school level or, sometimes you don't want to do the math, and with our progressive savings on your hourly rate, you won't have to. Just figure out how many hours you're playing, figure out just the amount of savings. So if you play for 5 hours straight during January, get 20% off on your hourly rate. If you play for 7 hours straight, get 30% off, and for 10 hours straight, 40% off. Does not get much better than that. I mean, we could give it away for free, but, what would be the fun in that?
I think some people, too, they look at that and they're like, oh, yeah, well, who plays 10 hours? And you'd be surprised. We got a handful of people that are going 10 hours. I mean, especially Friday night, Saturday night, we're not closing.
No, I've seen people who feel like they live here. I mean, I tried to
Absolutely.
pitch that idea of a hotel out back and cots and all of that. There might be some licensing and zoning issues, so like that idea was shot down. But
Well, it wasn't shot down because the players wouldn't use it. Because I guarantee you, we could fill those cots.
yeah, we
We
could
could
get a
get
little
those rented.
Airbnb. I think that is the next adventure here for TCH Airbnb. Like, would be a little unconventional, but boy, would that not lead the way at customer service. We don't allow players to sleep at the table, but we do see players who get here long enough that, especially if they're getting a massage, start to zone off a little bit. But
Drifting out's okay, but sleeping's not.
yeah,
Yeah, if we get more even.
especially while you're working. So, all right, next hand as we resume play after they discussed a chop.
Looks like 100,000 on the blinds. Makes things easier when you just have to throw in the one blue chip.
That is true.
I know the dealers like that.
You don't have any of those odd amounts. It gets kind of tough when you're doing like 3,000, 6,000, trying to get people to post an ante. You got to make change, and like you're just trying to keep it going to get as many hands during that level as you can for everybody. Still 1-2 no limit games going on right now. Still 1-2-5 PLO. Last I saw, Chris Moneymaker was still in the game. He really loves playing Platinum and Omaha Cash, and if you can't tonight, come here on Monday. He's got a 5-5 game going. As Eric with a raise on the, well, let's see where we get our raise coming from. Raise to 210 with King 7 off suit. Coffee gonna call with 9-8 high. Flop becomes King at 7-6, top 2, and open-ended straight draw. Eric with the best hand, but Coffee with a pretty good draw, and he's going to lead at it. And time to open up the fireworks stand, because this pot could ignite if Eric so chooses. Trying to figure out what he is. Moved all in.
A snap call by Coffee. He was ready to call. He knew as soon as he put his bet in that he wasn't going to let this hand go.
Pretty much pot committed to it. And
it's a $4.1 million pot here. This is for the commanding chip lead.
Coffee's got 7 outs.
We're looking for a 5 or 10.
The 5 of spades, not going to be one of them, but it's a Queen of Hearts here on the turn. 5 or 10 to stay alive.
You want to talk about a trap?
Wait the final river card.
You river me.
Nothing like making everybody sweat a little bit as we
It's a
wait.
little
for
drama
it.
never hurt, you know?
No, this is for big pay jump right here.
Feels like when you watch those
Here we
WSOP ones,
go.
they take an hour. And there's the river, a deuce. Kings and 7s hold up here for Eric. Another player eliminated. And Coffee will finish in 3rd place. Great day by him, but really solid final table. It just couldn't quite put it all together. Not all the spots really happened for him, but hey, it can't be too sour about finishing third for 3,220.
Yeah, around there, 1 point.
Now we are heads up.
One thing I think also is that Coffee was only in on one shot. He got here about the same time that I did, and I did not see him reload. So that's a heck of a score for not a bad day's work at all.
It's didn't put in a lot of hours, but he also had the honor of being on the first TCHLiVe tournament stream. So I hope that's memorable for some of these guys to be a bunch of the trailblazers of our streaming show. That, boy, we're 2 episodes into this, and back of my mind I keep thinking, what's this going to look like a year from now? How exciting are we going to have this? And the kind of personalities we can get involved with. And
First stack.
First that. Okay, yeah.
Gotta tell you, as a
Yeah.
have an interest here in the Texas Card House. I was really rooting for Coffee to win it because I don't think you get a bigger promotional deal showing everybody in Austin, Texas. If Jeff Coffee can win a tournament, then everybody's
Pretty
going to be
much
here for the
anybody
next
can,
tournament. It's a local moneymaker effect.
And we certainly saw the Moneymaker effect in full force here as brought out troves of people from all throughout Texas. As our first hand of heads up, Eric with 4-3 and 4.4 million in chips as got a raise coming here from Cash on the button with Ace Jack.
Let me get one.
Steeler, bring me a flop here as
Now I'm first.
Gotta love Ace Jack heads up.
Oh, now he's
It's such a monster hand heads up.
about 600 in the pot. Flop comes Ace 8-6. Top pair here for Cash. Nothing for Eric. And Eric's not really done anything out of line. He's not done any crazy bets or anything. He's just has generally played pretty snug and patient, but
Yeah, it's a check fold here for Eric. 99% of the time.
weigh his options, and he will click the fold button. Hard time clicking that button when you see it. You're like, fold. Ugh. Such a negative button. Like, I wish we had another term for it.
Oh, I've disabled that button a
Oh,
long
you
time
really?
ago.
Just take like a. I had a buddy of mine. He would always take like a. He'd take like a notebook or something and like cover the flop. Especially when he was like all in, like he would just take it and put it over the top of his screen because he was getting so tired of getting run out. And online poker really brings out the worst of you. So that's why they say come live, so you can't humiliate yourself in private.
Yeah, and do it on the live stream so all your friends can see
just
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
So at least you have proof, you know. All right, Queen 10 here versus 9 deuce of clubs. Oh, the stories I could tell of. Ugh. All right, King 3-5. Nobody connects. Check.
Yeah, I mean, this is standard heads up, no limit hold'em tournament right here. You're not going to make pairs. You're rarely going to see monster or starting hands.
Right.
You're going to have to make profit out of these hands with 9 deuce, out of these hands with Queen 10. You're going to have to get creative.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you get second pair. It becomes.
It's not about what you have. It's about what your opponent has. You know, like they're not supposed to make pairs either, so you don't have to worry about missing a flop. It's time to get aggressive.
We want to thank all of you who have chosen to subscribe. We've gotten over 1,000 views on the first video, the first episode of TCHLiVe, and just imagine that'll continue. Reached over 210 subscribers, and love the early turnout. And I got a pair of threes. Cash gonna limp on the button with Queen 7, and he's gonna shove all in. And
Aggression continues to pay off for Eric. He's playing the stack. He's playing his position.
that's the only move he can make there. It's really, it's you're not really going to want to try to bump it up 3x, and
No, 'cause
you're
with
going to make your
pocket
opponent play
threes-
for all his chips.
Yeah, with pocket threes, you're never gonna see a flop you like unless there's a 3 on it. So you gotta be scared of over pairs.
Ace 4 versus King 8, we could see some sparks fly. See how fast Cash wants to play this. Probably go raise and call, but maybe they'll surprise us here. And that is a raise to 250. Certainly going to defend here with King High, and we'll opt to make the call. Pot of 600K in the middle as we go heads up. Plan for what is it? $6,930 for first place here tonight. As flop comes queen, jack, deuce. Again, neither player connects. Go check, check.
Scary board though for both players because a queen and a jack, you got to be worried somebody made a pair. Of course, till right now the turn card comes. Eric's got to be loving it.
Yes, cash gonna check again.
At this point, Eric's hoping that Cash has a queen or a jack so he can make some money with his ace.
Gonna give him one more free card though.
I like it. I think Cash knows if he wants to win this hand, he's going to have to pull the trigger and make a bluff, and so Eric's just sitting there waiting on him.
You know, and Cash is kind of sitting in a position, okay, he's raised me, and now he's checked back 2 streets. Like, is he really going to check, like, 6s here twice? Like,
Cash does make the smart check. You know, Eric's going to throw out some value, and it looks like Cash will be able to get away from this hand.
bet a 400K here on the river. Eric with the best hand with a pair of aces.
Be shocked to think this is anything more than just posturing. I don't think we're going to look to find a...
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to find a really optimistic scenario where he may think king high is good. And there may be a very few situations where he can, but it's just an ugly board to consider making a hero call on. Still fans tuning in here on the chat box. The coffee club has apparently gone quiet as Jeff has gotten knocked out. The old 6 deuce and king 10 high. And here comes the raise.
Eric's playing almost a 4-to-1 chip lead here, so he can afford to make a lot of calls that he doesn't need to, but I think he's just continuing to wait. I mean, he's got a massive chip lead, and if he can just find some better spots, I think he knows he can close this deal here soon.
I mean, he can kind of wait him out here that if
This 6 off 6.
take small jabs at it and doesn't have to do anything too reckless to try to maintain his chip position. So, been pretty protective thus far, and Cash not so protective of his chips, but they stay over the line. Shane Wall still there with us here in the chat box, still refusing to go to sleep until Cash wins. So.
Yes, sir.
Let's see if we've got a bet and a raise. What does Cash have here? His cards aren't picking up.
Oh, he's got something that he likes, that's for sure.
It's enough to jam here on Eric, who's got queen 5 off, and this kind of feels like me when I get to like 7-Eleven and my card's not reading with a chip reader. It's like, why is this not working? I need an energy drink here. Well, we do know Cash has 2 cards, so that's a start.
2 cards and about 1.1 million all in. 1.4.
And for the big blind for 100K and 100K big blind Annie, so
1,505,000. 1,500,000.
I don't know how Eric's going to find a call here. After seeing some of the other hands he's laid down, it just doesn't seem likely for him to...
He's not a quick folder, but I think some players now I see kind of develop like a rhythm as far as they want to take this much time. I don't know. That you can maybe say on the paranoid side that they're like, if I make a decision in X amount of time, it may give information to the other players that I have this value of hand depending on what side of the spectrum you're on. But he's been really consistent as far as it just feels like he's gonna. Gonna take his time, and the big chip lead there, he's certainly apt to do so. As Cash here with 8-5, Eric with Queen Deuce out of the big blind. Most likely see a flop.
Could have been that close there.
Heads up poker for you.
Okay, that's 1.3 to win 3.1. So
Flop's gonna come 8-6-5.
40.
Two pair here for Cash, top and bottom. Another but Queen High for Eric, and small chance of backdoor spades, or we're running 3-4, but
It was my 200, the 200, and the 100. And
Cash gonna make a bet here though. Is hoping to draw a shove, but no luck.
that right? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I've been here a long time.
And he's also kind of put in a position too with a really draw heavy board that, you know, even in heads up, that put a little feeler bet out.
yeah, I was pretty sure.
It's certainly worth it just to maybe see if we can get Eric to make a move on it, but
Yeah,
30, 40K.
as we can see, nothing for Eric there to do much with.
The next time I see him, he had like 600K.
yeah, I got moved to his table when he had a ton of chips.
Crazy.
You just do one bullet.
Yes, sir.
Cash has really been battling back here. He started out as a 4-1 dog. Got a little bit down, maybe 3-2.
Cash isn't playing poker. He also plays Andrew Luck at parties. So
Same with you. One bullet.
retired Andrew Luck. He's Queen 8 high for Cash. Eric with Jack Deuce high, and it goes check check.
I got here pretty early. I was in here. I was in the doors quick.
Turn's gonna come at 6. Now gives Cash an open-ended straight draw. Still Jack high for Eric, and Jack and Deuce are live, but and he may call just to try to. No, here comes a raise up to 300,000. First real big move we've seen anybody make here. Heads up.
I don't think Cash is going to be able to let this one go. He's definitely going to want to see a river card.
And as it stands, he's got the best hand. Eric's neither going to need to make a jack or a deuce or get Cash to fold. And
Cash can't possibly think he has the best hand right now. And certainly not now, does it? What do you think that? The way Eric's been playing, that ace hits Eric's range all day.
so Cash put here in a tough spot. Is Eric going to continue? He made a raise on the turn, raced up to 300,000, gotten called.
He knows he has to. I mean, surrendering with Jack high here.
Wow.
Wow.
He's going to do it. But I think that
And
call
he- and
froze
he's-
him because he just
yeah.
felt like, I think if it's any
I was
card
gonna say,
other
you're
than a
good.
diamond,
You had an 8,
because
huh?
he figures Cash has a draw.
I'm gonna see it later,
Yeah,
anyways.
diamond draws certainly well
You didn't have
within
an
his
8?
range, but
Yeah, Eric
I-
wants that one back. He
Yeah,
knows
it's
it.
like, oh,
He
give me
knows
those
it.
cards back.
I thought you had the same thing.
Give it back to me.
Come on,
That's
shit,
the
crazy,
worst.
baby.
You know what you're setting up to do. I mean, he makes the raise on the turn. You're setting up to bluff it. You gotta commit, and sometimes you just get a little gun shy like that. You freeze up. Cash did made great moves and froze Eric. Can't believe he checks back with Jack high. You know you can't win.
Well, let's see how Eric responds, because he seemed pretty even killed. Move on to the next hand, but you never know at this stage when you've been playing for 13 to 14 hours what might make you crack. And I don't think that'll happen, but still continue here. Heads up, Queen 6 of clubs versus 10-8 offsuit. Flop comes Queen 8 deuce. Top pair here for Cash, second pair for Eric. Bottom of 600, and he's reaching. We'll bet probably about what, 285K or so. About 260. And Eric gonna make the call as we go heads up here to the turn. Also has backdoor diamonds. If we see one will peel on the turn, it is 4 of diamonds. Cash still with the best hand. See if Eric gets a free card here, or if Cash gonna make him pay for it. Nope, he will check back here with his top pair. And the river comes a deuce, so queens and deuces with an 8.
Check.
And it'll go check, check, because a sigh of relief there for Cash is 210K and, or excuse me, 610K in chips. Gonna be added here to his stack, and we're getting close to even now.
I was just about to say, I think that's 4 straight hands for Cash, and heads up, it's a lot of momentum swings. You know, each hand you win, your opponent, I mean, it's like two for one value for your opponent going up because you lost those chips and your opponent gained them. So just like that, Cash has pretty much made this a fair fight.
And with ace-6 of clubs in the big blind, hoping Eric makes a raise, but we'll call on the button with Queen 3 offsuit. Cash gonna try to trap him here and see if can flop something that Eric might not expect.
I'm loving a suited ace heads up.
Except if you get that flop there. King, deuce, queen, pair and a flush draw here for Eric. Nothing but ace high here for Cash. Drawn pretty slim.
Yeah, it's a scary board for Cash, but most likely one that he can get away from. This won't be too costly of a hand.
So checking out of the big blind actually saved him some chips because, you know, if he makes a raise out of there, he's got a continuation bet, and it's almost certainly going to get called by a second pair. Action continues here on TCHLive. Again, smash that subscribe button if you can.
Let's make a deal. You gonna keep playing?
Like, click, and subscribe, as the YouTube kids say. I never thought I would say those words, Sam, but here we are.
Similar.
Like I said earlier, if I couldn't be on the final table myself, there's no other place I'd rather be.
It's about as cool as it gets. So we'll get an open fold here from the button. Keeps the action moving.
Let's do a deal. What do you want to do?
So Sam, when he's
That's what that's gonna be.
well, we've got some talk here. As we've got a break. Or are they discussing numbers?
At this point, you might be talking chop. I know our. I think we're the difference in chips is maybe
Very slim now.
half
at this
a million.
point.
The difference in chips is nothing but 5 or 6 big blinds.
So, you know, first place slated for 6,930. Second is 4,690.
You're looking at 5,000 and change each. That's pretty much first place money at this point. I'm not much for a chopping, hardly ever, but I mean at this
Yeah, if you
point,
get the heads up, and it's just like,
you can walk with almost first place money. I think you do.
and probably if you're Eric too, and you've seen a chip stack kind of dwindle and Cash picking up momentum, it's kind of a good pack it up and go home kind of moment.
Not to mention, what is this, hour 13?
Yeah, this is. By the time this stream is hit, they're probably about 14 and a half hours, not including breaks. at this point of the night, and this yeah, they are running the numbers here.
Might be the ICM calculator out on the app. I know a lot of people have those apps on their phone. That's probably what we're talking about here.
And I think they're in a spot now. Heads up's a lot easier just to cut the numbers. And they have agreed to
Yeah,
a deal.
there's the handshake right there. It looks like a deal's been made.
And I guess that's going to wrap things up here. An anticlimactic end, but a profitable end for two players that survived a field with over 210 entries and a $31,500 prize pool. Here of our $150 buy-in. We had a pretty good final table here for first run through for us. Production did a terrific job. I mean, we got to see some stuff here, and excited to see what more we'll have in store for everybody here on TCHLiVe.
Yeah, I'd say all in all, we had a really good turnout. I think this was a lot of fun. I got to play it, and I got to watch it, and then I got to commentate on it, and I've enjoyed all the above. And I guess for the final wrap up, officially it was an ICM chop, and it sounds like Eric took about 500 more than Cash. It was around 6,000 to first and 5,500 to second. So it looks like a ICM chop, and not a bad day's work.
And I know one person who is happy is Shane, who said in the chat box, not going to go to sleep until Cash won, and chop counts as a win, I guess, in this case. Or
Oh
else.
yeah, if I'm chopping, I don't care if I chopped for 500 or 600 less than somebody else. I'm going to tell everybody else that I won. So whoever that was in the chat stream, they can go to bed, have a good night, come to Card House in the morning.
That is right. The action will pick back up tomorrow. I believe that is at 2 o'clock for the Sunday Moneymaker Mega Stack. Come here at 2 o'clock. Re-entry tournament for a $100 buy, and $100 gets you $30K starting stack. 25-minute levels and a chance for a $200 bounty and a t-shirt if you knock out Chris Moneymaker, and good luck to you. Again, we will be back on TCHLiVe for Monday. It's Chris Moneymaker hosting the 5-5 PLO game, pot limit Omaha. Let's go. And Tuesday, 2-5 Big O and mixed limit cash on the final day of the TCH Celebrity Poker Series. I got my picture taken with Chris Moneymaker. I felt pretty proud of that. That's quite a full circle here for us. As if we have anything else that we want to add here, Sam, you feel like we're rounded third and heading for home?
Nope, that's it for me. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm gonna fire again at the Mega Stack, and maybe I'll make the final table.
Good luck to you. Well, for Chris, Ryan, James, JD, Carolyn, everybody here on our production side, for Sam Von Kendall, my name is Mike Gimlin. Thank you so much for joining us on our second edition of TCHLiVe. We will see you on Monday. Get fired up for Pot Limit Omaha. Come out here on Sunday tomorrow. Good night, everybody.